The Monaco Grand Prix is upon us and we're heading into the weekend with the first of the practice sessions. It's certainly not the easiest of tracks to navigate, so today is going to be incredibly valuable to the teams. Lowe's hairpin is the slowest corner of any track on the Formula One calendar. It's taken at just 48 kilometers an hour, but provides a stunning view on the first lap as the entire grid bunches up and tiptoes through the corner, hoping not to leave any carbon fibre parts behind.
This is such a tight bend that a special steering rack is used just to get around this very corner, as the cars would not normally be able to make the turn. There is the possibility of overtaking through Lowe's, but more often than not, you'll end up damaging your car.
So hello and welcome to Monaco.
Okay, let's talk about this track. To back is the very fast, very scary left-hander after the Nouvelle chicane, and it has quite an early turn-in. To take it at speed, you have to aim to scrape the barrier, and the car should understeer just past it. Once you've missed the barrier, hard on the power, just be careful not to overdo it and clip the outside wall on the exit.
Just what you want to hear. Scrape the barrier. I don't think I've ever really scraped barriers. I'd love to say this is me driving, but this is the PC setting you up for the 5 red lights before you get going, which is just about now, and I hit the barrier. I hate Monaco. I'm going to openly admit it. I absolutely hate driving Monaco. There are some F1 YouTubers that absolutely love Monaco. I, on the other hand, definitely hate it. So we're going to see how practice goes. There's no new upgrades on the car for this race, but we really need to see how we can get around Monaco as we actually take the first few corners reasonably well in our first practice session of doing track acclimatization. Now, I've set the car up for maximum downforce, allowing us to turn and take all the tight corners around Monaco and navigate them pretty damn well.
Be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor
But as
damage.
you can see and hear already from Jeff, we have taken some damage on our front wing, and that isn't the best of things to happen before you get into the very fast chicanes, which we're about to see. Now, it may look like I'm doing this track acclimatization very well, but when you actually compare my time against the AI, I'm doing this quite poorly. The AI generally hit all the corners, or majority of the corners, at a purple speed, and we've hit the majority. We're about half and half at the moment between hitting green and purple, and there you go, that's what we're talking about. Hitting the chicane far too quickly, missing the whole thing out, and invalidating the whole lap for time anyway, but the actual points from the programme still managed to tot up. Now, this is where you're going to stay flat out and then break down a couple of gears. As you can see, I'm still getting used to how to take the corners, and then that's always a nightmare corner for me as well. But we're coming through. Luckily, it's not raining. I think it very rarely rains in Monaco, so yes, we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get enough points to actually pass. We do just get enough points to pass the programme.
Good work, you seem to have a solid handle on the lap. Let's try and perfect.
And then straight away hit the wall.
Remember that chaining good corners together will give you a consistency bonus.
We are at one of the most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula One qualifying.
So we're getting into qualifying, and just to clarify that on practice, we hit the wall on practice 1, as you saw, then we hit the wall on practice 2 going through the chicane, and then we hit the wall on practice 3 taking the corner after the chicane far too quickly. But now we are in qualifying.
Looking at this field today, Anthony, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance? Maybe run the hard tyres and save some of the grippier tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that, and even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
As you can see, I did put quite a lot of effort into the practice laps that we were doing before we wrote off our practice sessions. But it was good timing at Jeff, wasn't it? Well done, we've nailed that programme. Now let's see if we can improve our times through the corners, smash straight into the barrier. But we are actually doing quite well in qualifying as we come round the very tight bends and then into the tunnel. We're just about to take that well on. We clipped the back end on there a couple of times in practice as well. With Bottas is now taking the lead in qualifying. There he goes in his Ghost. And this is the one where I went off in practice a couple of times. Go round the chicane, get your foot down to the floor, and see how we can do. And I generally do hate this track. I mean, it's so, you've got to be so skillful, that's why I hate it. But you're going through, as you can see, I'm sort of going through at full pace down there, easing off when I know I need to. Down through here into the tight right bend to get you onto the last corner. Then you get your foot down with the DRS and then you cross the line. And we're actually having quite a good lap around Monaco here. I'm quite impressed with myself as he comes up, and it is...
Excellent lap. We're really pleased.
7th position on the grid. Now that is a surprise. I really didn't think we'd be doing that. We might have to up the danger level. Danger level?
Complete,
difficulty level.
Let's review our top 3 today. Hamilton, Bottas and Sebastian Vettel. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Yeah, so qualifying goes pretty well for us. 7th finishing above Lucas Weber. Pierre Gasly having a good session as well for once. And we beat Romain Grosjean as well, so we get a few more resource points, which is absolutely lovely. And yeah, we're cracking up. I was not expecting that. I honestly wasn't expecting that in Monaco, to finish 7th in qualifying. I honestly thought we'd be bottom because I really hate it. But it does push us up with Haas, the reputation. We're slowly edging towards veteran. Next up is the race.
The road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco then. It's not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Pierre Gasly and Verstappen, Wang, Weber, Norris and Kimi Raikkonen, Perez, Ricciardo, Devon Butler and Kvyat, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Alexander Albon and George Russell. Kubica and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, don't try anything silly into one. It's going to be crazy in there. Just do your best to stay out of trouble.
So as Jess said, we're just going to stay out of trouble on that first corner as we head towards 5 red lights at the Monaco Grand Prix, with Hamilton leading us out and Bottas, and away we go. And it's a pretty decent start, to be honest. We do have a McLaren coming right up our outside to start with. It's absolute carnage to go in. A bit of contact with Lucas Weber, but we managed to keep in front of him and was challenging Verstappen for 6th. And as you can see, we're bouncing off the sidewalls of this course. Now we need to brake sensibly as we come in. Now the chances are those front 6 cars will get away from us and we'll have a nice little train behind us, and it's just a case of keeping it in that position. If we can finish in 7th where we qualified, I'll be very happy indeed as we come into the really slow corner, and we've got to drop down the gears and we get back on it, turning around, just following Red Bull Verstappen as we hit the wall and bounce off it ever so slightly. And look at that, it just impacts you so badly trying to get away. As Jeff's trying to ask us to build on the decent start we had as we go into a bit of pace through the chicane, and then we come through. Now this is where the AI can go through and they brake perfectly, hit everything full throttle, whereas we have to brake a little bit harder there, so the AI won't lift off through here, and they'll do well to go around here in 4th or 5th gear, whereas we have to drop to 4th and brake because I'm so scared about writing the car off this early as we come through. So it looks like we're going to come through-ish lap 1 just about unscathed, just about. But you can see that train behind us is very much building up, and yeah, that could be a running theme of the Monaco Grand Prix. I think the top 6 cars getting away from us and us just holding everybody else up on the circuit as we go through. We've got to try and not worry about the pressure behind us as we come round the relatively speedy left-hander, take it to the right-hander, and then go down the hill, avoiding the big bump in the road, so you go right to left, and then you turn the corner. We actually take that one much better than we did on the first lap, and then round the big bend, and we're slowly catching Verstappen there. We've got Weber in the other racing point of Lance Stroll behind us. It could be Sergio Perez. Can't remember who kept their seat in this one. I think it was Perez. As we come through the tunnel, you get good noise. You can see we're slightly off the racing line. We're going a little bit of a quicker route, I feel. And then down through the chicane once again. Got to try and keep it on track. Get your foot down as soon as you can coming out of it. And yeah, as you can see, Max Verstappen's Red Bull is out of sight, I think is the best way to describe it. As you get lots of these off-board cameras giving us some decent views, showing the pace that you can get through the Monaco circuit, and then the really hard braking. It's such a skillful little course that you've got a rider on, and we actually take that corner much better than again we did in the first lap. So maybe we're building a little bit of momentum now, as we're still going around Monaco, still with this huge train of cars behind us, where it's so hard to pass and overtake on this street circuit. As we're going up, and just sticking with the off-board cameras for a minute, because it's a beautiful track, Monaco. It's an absolutely beautiful track. As we come through, hit the wall, we have a little bump that's going to open it up for Weber there. But again, he has to just stick behind us because it's so hard to get past and get round other cars here. As you can see, Verstappen in the top 6 go off into the distance around the chicane. They'll be heading towards the tunnel roundabout now. As we go through, we come down, have a bit of a weave so that we make sure we don't hit the barrier, go onto the curb, and that's going to open it up for Lucas Weber. And here he comes through the tunnel. He's going to get his foot down, and it forces us into the barrier. And now it's too wide going into the chicane. We have a little bit of contact with Weber. He's got the inside, is battling all the way through the chicane element of Monaco. Never thought you would see it. We're going through here. We just about hold on and get our foot down and try and keep the pressure up. And there we go, on board then. Let's see what we can do as we come through. Take the tight right-hander. Have to get on the brakes. Weber just pushing us along a little bit, giving us a nudge, letting us know he's there as we come through. And Weber now will probably have DRS on us because it is activated on lap 3 and we are on lap 4 of 20 as we come through. Just trying to accelerate away, but look at the mini-map. Look at all those cars that are struggling behind us and training behind us because we can't get the pace around this course that the AI has. As we come down through into the right-hander, so he can again go right to left to avoid that bump. Take the turn a little bit heavy, but manage to keep it on. And then go through the big hairpin left-hander, really slow, mount the curb ever so slightly. And then take it through. So we're lapping our best lap so far as a 1:19, which isn't too bad, to be honest. Just as the AI has fantastic pace through Monaco, as you would expect being a computer, to know exactly how to take it perfectly. And we take the tunnel corner, the best we have done so far. We drop down into second for the chicane. Try and get foot down, go a little bit wide, opens up a bit of space for Weber again, but he just can't make that pass on us. And if we can, as I said when we started, if we can stay like this and just keep this train behind us, I'm quite happy. It's all going to come down to pit stops, I think, at the moment. As we come through, and again, we're lifting off just when the AI doesn't. We have to lift off because we're not as comfortable as they are coming through this course. As we take a corner, go round, and we're going to come over the start finish rate, still in 7th. I'm pretty happy with that.
You'll be on the hards.
The pit window is just about to open. We can go on to the hard tyre for the final stint of the race.
The car behind is
we're going through.
by about 0.3 a lap.
And apparently we are accelerating away from Sergio Perez in his racing point at 0.3 a lap, which is good to know, although it doesn't feel like it because he is right there on our gearbox yet again as we come round this slow little bends here. Get your foot down slightly on the brakes. See, we mount the curb a lot more than the AI to give us that tight turn round. It should allow you to get away, but it doesn't, really. You do really struggle. Well, I really struggle, sorry, around Monaco. Let me know, do you guys, if you play the game, do you struggle around Monaco? It's such a tight, tough circuit to go around, and that's why it's the pinnacle of the racing team, racing calendar, because people want to win it. It's the standout Grand Prix, I would say, in the calendar. As here we go then, into the fast bits of chicane. We go round, keep it tight on that one actually, foot down, let's try not to lift. We nearly hit the barrier, we actually exceed the track limits. We do manage to not pick up a penalty, just a warning that time, but you can see the pace we try to keep going through. We go really wide, that gives Perez an opportunity to get through, and he does, and he goes up into 7th, we drop to 8th, and now we're part of a Racing Point sandwich as we look back at Lucas Weber, who's trying to keep us. We're being told by Jeff that we have faster engine modes available, which I'm not too confident in engaging around Monaco, to be honest. As we're now chasing down Sergio Perez, trying to get that spot gap. Go wide again, nearly leaving it open for Lucas Weber. And again, you can just see Weber having the correct racing line, and we're really struggling at the moment. Obviously, the tyres are going to give up as well at some point. We are just about keeping our nose in front of Lucas Weber as we go very high up the curb again. And look how close he is behind us. You can just see it here coming through the streets of Monaco from the rear view angle on the camera. Go a bit wide again, but into the tunnel we go. You can hear the car really well through here. We're checking our tyre wear and wear on the car. We've got a bit of front wing damage on the left hand side, where we've obviously had a bit of contact with another car or part of the curb, and the tyre wear is okay. The tyre temperatures are okay at the moment as we're going through. Again, try not to lift. We manage it through. Drop down a couple of gears. Keep it working hard. And that is probably the best we've taken that high speed area, and still the AI keeps up with us. But there is a gap now between Weber and everybody else, so maybe we're getting a bit more pace around this Monaco lap.
You shouldn't have too much trouble for the time being, but the grip is going to start falling away.
As we're catching Leclerc, I assume he's just come out of the pits.
So push now.
We just smash into the wall there as we come forward, and we've been told by Jeff this is our in lap for the pits. So let's see how we get on as Leclerc comes around. We're chasing him down and we're nowhere near him, to be honest. We're still trying to fend off the battle from Lucas Weber, number 70 in the Racing Point car. There's a yellow flag there. There is a Williams car, I think, caught in the bit of the off-ramp around that corner. You just see at the top of the screen now. But yeah, so we do have a retirement from the race. So whatever happens, we're not going to finish 20th, but we smash into the wall there. Got that all sorts of wrong. And now we've got to get our foot down to really make up for that as Lucas Weber gets past. We've got a McLaren of Carlos Sainz on us as well, and an Alfa Romeo of Kimi Raikkonen. As we come through, we managed to just about control into the chicane, but we're going to have a lot of, well, damage on that front wing. You can see it there. We've lost an end plate. We've lost parts of the downforce. We're spinning around all over this track now because of this lack of downforce. We cut the corner again. We come through. We're cutting that one as well. We're not going to get any penalties though. Only a couple of warnings through that, as we are going to pit in here. We go very wide again, and into the pits we go. That very tight pit entry lane. So on a rare occasion we actually get an on-board pit stop. You can see they're changing the front wing and we're good to go. And away we go, and that's going to drop us down surely a number of positions. We did come out behind a Toro Rosso and an Alfa Romeo that we probably hadn't seen for the whole race in the first little stint. As we come out of the pit lane, and we're racing again with a new front wing. Look at that, end plates and aerodynamic flaps and all, which is lovely to see around Monaco. But that's definitely going to be into our race time as we come up, and we've really got some chasing to do here. We have come out in 20th position, I can confirm. We are on 19th position, sorry, because George Russell has got a DNF and did not finish, which is, we're not last, and I'll take that as a positive at Monaco because someone has already crashed out. As you can see, we are closing up to, I think that's Danny Kvyat in the Toro Rosso, as we come around the tight right bend, and this time hopefully don't smash into the wall, which we don't. Into the tunnel, all on our lonesome, as we get our foot down, accelerating through it quite well. The camera has to adapt to the new lighting as we come out of the tunnel, and we then take the chicane reasonably well. Look at that backdrop of Monaco, it's absolutely lovely. As we come through, hit the wall, we lose the back end, and again we lose our front wing, and that is incredibly annoying. And we need to go in for another one as we come down, drop through the gears, take this chicane. Well, hit the wall again as we don't have any understeer, get a foot down, lose a gear, and we smash into the wall, and that's the race over. As you can see, we come through the back end here, just lose it as it comes around, smash into there, the wheels off, the front wing's completely off, the car is damaged, and that is us out of the race. So, as we predicted, we didn't finish the Monaco Grand Prix. Very annoying.
And a fantastic win for Mercedes. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions, and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Another good win for Mercedes then, with Bottas and Hamilton both in the top three once again. They're going to be smashing the Constructors' Championship. As a very disappointing race for us. I did say I'd be surprised if we managed to get through the whole race without crashing, but it's annoying that it happened straight after the pit stop with fresh tyres, but what can you do?
Look at how the drive endings have changed. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Well, there was a lot of incredible driving out there today, Crofty, but if I had to pick someone, it's got to be Sergio Perez. Fantastic driving.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So the Monaco Grand Prix is over, and thank God for that. Next up will be Canada, but as you can see, we actually, Romain Grosjean finished in 14th, which was, again, disappointing. He's not pulling his weight in this Haas team. But yeah, next up, Canada, and that's a race I'm actually very much looking forward to. One of my favourite tracks on F1 2019 and 2018 as well. So very much looking forward to taking that on. But yeah, good win for Hamilton again, and Ferrari in 3 and 4 is good for them in the Constructors as well. We win the rivalry against Grosjean, and we're beating Weber, which is good, but you drop so much in reputation when you don't complete a race, and that's very annoying.
What on earth was that performance? Come on, this isn't bumper cars at the fairground. Your results and conduct here matter. So pay more attention. We can't afford too many races like that.
Don't worry, Emma, there won't be another race like that. That's just Monaco, and I hate Monaco. Again, we're not going to do the invitational events. I know you can get extra research points from them, but we just don't take part. I don't have the time, more than anything. But everyone was very disappointed in the race at Monaco and how we finished and the fact we crashed out. After a very good qualifying as well, it's got to be said. But let's go into the R&D tree and have a quick look at where we can spend these 1,874 points that we've accumulated, which is very nice. We're looking at the engine. It's going to be a major upgrade if we have to do it. It will be the major oil upgrade, or we can go into the rear floor under tray, or we can go into the aerodynamics and look at doing the rear wing outer stakes, which will take 2 weeks but will be done in time. It's a relatively small development, that one. I think we go for the powertrain, if I remember rightly. We go for a big upgrade on the engine, but we're also looking at durability as well to see so that we don't have to replace too many units throughout the season, which obviously really helps. There we go, we actually go for the MGU, which is good. We could go for the gearbox as well, or the ICE. We're going for ICE. We are. It looks like we're going for durability all round this week. What can I remember? I recorded this quite a while ago before I got ill. And then I've just done the voiceover on it today. That's why it's a little bit different. But yeah, lots of durability upgrades. And let's get in to the next race, which should be Canada, if I remember rightly, as we have a quick look through next weekend. Here we go. Replace the gearbox? Yes, please. There's no penalty. That's absolutely fine. Happy to do that. And on we go, on towards Canada, which is going to be one hell of a Grand Prix. I love this course. I really, really like it. Could this be our first podium? Who knows? See you then.